점수 잡는 hackers.
Question number 8. We have two graphs, 3x negative in front plus 5. It means a negative slope shifted up 5 units. So that's your P graph. And 2x negative 4 is your Q graph. And they're asking for a solution set that, first of all, it's going to lie below the first equation, so either points B or C. And another one in the inequality statement above the line, so the only overlapping point is point B, and that's your match. That's how you interpret the inequality equation forms. Okay? Number 9, they're asking for x values that satisfy this equation. So they're simply asking us to solve the quadratic equation. So what do you have to do? Instead of plugging this in to find the solution set, your quadratic equation, why don't we divide everything by 12, right? So you get x squared minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. And if you had a standard form of ax squared bx plus c, how do you find these zeros for the solution set? Like this, right? So let's plug in some of the values. 2a negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac. So it's 2 plus minus square root of 12. So I think we do have a match. 1 plus minus square root of 3, and a is your match. Okay? Moving on to question number 9, or question number 10. It was quite long, so let's just read through the sentence by sentence and see what they're trying to tell us. Sentence 1. A soil scientist measures the concentration of nitrogen in milligrams of nitrogen per kilograms of soil. So the concentration of nitrogen is given in terms of milligrams nitrogen to kilograms of soil. I'll just write soil here. In 9 samples, each from a different location. He finds that the average of nitrogen concentration is 72, while the median is 46. And notice how the median is actually a value that's less than the average. So can you figure out? There are going to be some data sets that are extremely greater than the median, right? So if soil sample X had the highest nitrogen concentration, which of the following must be true? It's going to have a value that's greatly beyond 46. So among the answer choice here, we can actually see that, well, it has to be greater than overall average as well to bring up the average a lot. So when you read answer choice C, it was much greater than 72. Does that make sense? Let me give you a simple example. If you have 3 numbers of A, B, C, and they're telling us that, I guess, the median value had a value of 2, and the overall average is like 100. C has to be a lot greater than the median and also a lot greater than the average to bring up the average of 3 terms to a value of 100. Does that make sense? So that's why C is a match here. Okay. So let's move on to the next 2 questions. So we have 11 and 12 referring to the following information about San Francisco and Denver, Colorado from 2000-2010. And the first question is like, oh, in the specific year of 2003, cost of a gallon of gasoline in San Francisco was what % greater than Denver? So if I let San Francisco to be a variable of A and Denver B, they're asking for what % greater than Denver. So that's what we're trying to find out, right? So you go back, and what year was it? 2003, right? So in 2003, San Francisco was about a value of 1.9, and Denver had a value about 1.5. Plug this into your calculator. What do you guys get? About 30%. So B is your match. Alrighty. Moving on to the next question. So we're only looking at a specific time frame of 2002 to 2008, although they did provide many other years as well. And they're asking for us to actually come up with an approximation, a linear graph for Denver from these years. So you go back and you're like, okay, from 2008 all the way to 2008, Denver has an overall linear trend going on, and it's starting off with a value of about 1.4. So you can see that there's going to be a positive y-intercept. And you just have to approximate the slope associated with this. So in a 6-year period, what was the overall increase in cost per gasoline, or cost per gallon? That's going to be 3.2. and that number 1.4. So you can transform that into a slope form, right? So what do you guys get as your match? Positive y-intercept. D is your match, right? Okay.